Hey, welcome back, comic fans. It's Mr. Q Comics back with another haul video. Today I have a nice stack of books that I picked up at a local indoor flea market and an antique mall. I've been spending a lot more time hitting up antique malls and thrift stores and things like that, things that are a little, lesser known shops, lesser known places to look for books. It takes a little more work trying to find places that have comics, but it's a lot of fun driving around, hitting up new towns, and just trying to find new places where you can make some new connections and get some good deals. So I've been just hitting the road, taking some road trips, and exploring new places. So all these books I picked up probably in the last month. I think probably about 4 weeks ago. I was out. Did a little driving to try and find some new antique shops. Didn't have too much luck, so on the way home, I decided to hit up a shop I knew of that I was driving by. I had been there before years ago. Picked up a couple books, but nothing great. This is a really cool spot, though. It's an old mill that's been refurbished. It's got businesses, farmers market, all that type of stuff. So they have an antique mall in one section of the mill, in the lower levels, and it's connected to an indoor flea market as well. So I hit up the antique mall first. I knew there was a dealer in there. He's a book dealer that has comics as well. I had bought from him a few years before at another antique mall a little further out. Got some great books in there. I think he's been kind of milking the same collection for a lot of years. So a lot of stuff is overpriced. He pretty much prices everything the same. It's like $5, $8, $12, and then the nicest books he has are like 15 or something like that. So before I dive into them, if you're a fan of comic hauls, do me a favor, go down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and please leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about these books. So, all right, let's dive right in. We have got Avengers 129. I do not believe this is actually a key. It got hot for a bit with the Kang appearance in the Loki show. It is a fantastic Ron Wilson cover. This one, pretty good shape, probably mid-grade, VG, fine range, and so it was a good pickup. Everything, like I said, priced pretty reasonably. I think basically everything was like between $9 to $12, something like that. So he also had Avengers 131. This is the first team appearance of the Legion of the Unliving. This one was in much nicer shape. This one's probably closer to the VF range. It's funny because he bags and boards the nicer books, I'll call them, a little bit differently, so they stick right out, the older books. So I kind of just grabbed those and went through them and picked out what I thought were going to be the best deals. So we've got Avengers Annual #1, really rough shape, definitely lower grade, probably in the good range. It's the first team up of the original and the new Avengers, covered by John Buscema. Also had Annual #2, probably a little bit better shape, but still rough, still low grade, good, very good range. I believe this is another John Buscema cover. This one's fantastic. Reminds me of those, I'm drawing a blank, the Avengers and Fantastic Four covers, where you got the two teams going against each other. So fantastic with the black background as well. And I think the first appearance of the Scarlet Centurion. So pretty solid finds right out of the gate, and it was a really good good haul because I just kind of struck out at the other antique malls I hit. So I'm glad I stopped in this place and found something to get the ball rolling. And Daredevil Annual #1. I don't believe it's a key, but the first annual, definitely low grade, probably VG range. This is a book that, again, this one got hot with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It is Machine Man #7, first appearance of the Power Broker. Pretty solid shape, I think, in this one. Probably VF range. This one was like $6. It was one of the lower price books, just mixed in with all this other stuff. So happy to grab a copy. I know it kind of hit its peak, but I don't think they resolved anything with Sharon Carter in that show that I recall. They just kind of left it open. So I feel like she's got to be popping back up somewhere. So you know how it goes. Probably spike this book a little bit at least at some point again in the future. So I thought for $6, a worthwhile pickup. All right, last four at the antique shop. He had a couple of Spideys, so gotta grab the Spideys when they're there for $12 or whatever these were. I ended up having these but it's Amazing Spider-Man number 138, first appearance of the Mind Worm. I think both of these ended up being upgrades for me. So, and we got 139, first appearance of the Grizzly. Not major keys, but of course, hey, Bronze Age Spidey, I am happy to grab those in slightly better condition than the copies I already had. And then another book I've always found pretty cheap, and I always pick it up, Thor 229. This is one of the, I think there's 3 books with the Hulk 181 ad. Thor 229. There's a Daredevil book, I think, and an Iron Fist. I'm drawing a blank on all the other issues. I always find the Thor 229, and always pick them up when I find them, especially in the, $10 range. So I don't know what they go for now. This one's probably mid-grade. And final book, I don't recall if I have this one or not. It is X-Men 91. This is in the reprint run. So this is a reprint of issue number 43, but still very cool John Buscema Magneto cover. So that is it for the antique mall. So like I said, these places are connected. So I decided I'll walk into the flea market. I know there's a comic dealer in the flea market. So his stuff is kind of a mess. And I think I bought from him the last time, but I found his prices to be, slightly high for someone set up at a flea market. They're not a brick and mortar comic shop, but they want comic shop prices and then some. And he's just not the most personable guy. So I don't think I ended up buying anything from him, but I found, these flea markets up here in my area, it's always sports cards, sports cards, sports cards. So one of the guys is a sports cards guy, but he had a ton of long boxes out. And I just like, all right, he's not even there. It's a sign, $1 a piece. Call this number if I'm not here. So I take the time and start digging and immediately start finding some really nice stuff. I end up talking to the guy later, and it sounds like he had been selling comics there for a bit. I don't know. I think he had just brought this stack in, so I just happened to time it really well. This flea market's only open on Saturday and Sunday. So I got there Sunday afternoon. So I don't know how many people went through these books, but I am amazed at some of the books that were left in there. So I cut down the stack quite a bit, just picked out some of the better books here. So we will start with this. Yeah, Valiant. I know it's not the biggest stuff, but Magnus, Robot Fighter number 12. This is the first Turok in Valiant Comics. So probably VF range. All right, I grabbed a couple of these. I've just been grabbing these, and anytime there's first appearances I find, I grab them. Web of Spider-Man number 15. Got a newsstand copy. This one's not in great shape. A little bit beat up. What I mark it down is this one's probably fine, very fine. And I got a direct copy that's a little bit better, probably very fine, near mint. This is the first appearance of Chance. Minor character, but you'll recognize him as the villain on the cover of ASM 298 and 299, those fantastic covers from McFarlane. So no spec with this guy that I've heard of. Anytime I find, first appearances for $1, scoop them up. They're $1. Get them now before they end up on a top 10 list. This is the time to grab those things. So for you guys who use the Key Collector app, that's what I like to use it for. I just like to know what the first appearances are and pick these things up when I find them for $1. For $1, it's worth just tucking them in a long box and seeing if anything happens. Another Spidey book, Webber Spider-Man number 36. This is a newsstand copy, first appearance of Tombstone. This one's beat up, probably VG fine. This one goes for, I think, in good shape, a $20, $25 book, maybe more now, who knows, but I feel like Tombstone, definitely worthwhile pickup. More stuff with Daredevil coming down the line, it sounds like. Still always talk about potential Black Cat and more the street level stuff, and I think there's a possibility you could see Tombstone pop up in there. He was always one of those kind of street level villains in the Marvel comics. So a few modern books. Mighty Avengers. I think I've shown these off before. I think I picked these up. Number 3, this is Power Man, White Tiger, and the Blue Marvel join the Avengers. I don't know a ton about the Blue Marvel. I'm drawing a blank on his first appearance, but I know that book commands a ton of money. So again, I've just been grabbing keys related to the Blue Marvel when I find them for $1, $2, cover or less, basically. So this one's in great shape, near mint range, so I grabbed it. And number 8, first appearance of Dr. Positron, who I think is the son of the Blue Marvel. So again, I know nothing about the character. So But for a buck, worthwhile grabbing those. All right, another one. This was hot once upon a time and cooled off, I believe. We got New Avengers 27. This is the first appearance of the second Ronin, Clint Barton. So, you know, obviously that got hot at one point, I think with Endgame, I believe it was, where he is Ronin in there. So I don't know what this goes for now. Probably a $10, $15 book maybe. And here's another one. Of course, I find it after, you know, its peak, but still pretty cool cover. I think this is Ramita. I can't remember. Kind of looks like Ramita. Avengers number 12. This is Iron Man wields the Infinity Gauntlet. Pretty good shape. VF near mint. Yeah, it is John Romita Jr. Again, I don't know what this goes for. Not a ton, I don't think. And I can't even remember what the heck this went for when Endgame came out. But it was hot at one time. And some more Falcon stuff. We've got Avengers number 35. This is the first cover of Sam Wilson as Cap. And I think it's the first cover and second cameo of Superior Iron Man. And I know I see a lot of stuff on top 10, top 20 lists about Superior Iron Man potentially in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So I thought in that trailer that was going to be Monica Rambeau, but I don't know. I see some YouTube channels I watch that talk about, you know, a lot of these movies coming out. And it seems like that may actually be the case. So we'll see if he pops up or not. But I find this book quite a bit on the cheap as well. So not a major book, but for a buck, I will absolutely take it home. Found this whole run. So I had to pick up all of them. We've got the Captain America Bloodstone Hunt, 357, 358, 359. This is I think this is the first cameo of Crossbones, I think. And 360 is the first full. I might have that wrong. 361 and 362. So again, for a buck, definitely a worthwhile pickup. I don't know what the Crossbones, the 360 goes for now. Again, used to be a pretty good book with, what movie was he in? Was it Civil War? I think it was Civil War. Yeah, it was Civil War, where he actually shows up as, you know, kind of more of a villain and then has a very quick demise. All right, Captain America 373. This is the first cameo of Leon Hoskins, brother of Battlestar, who later becomes U.S. agent. Again, nothing major, just minor keys. Picking up for a buck. Starting to get into some of the better stuff now. We've got Incredible Hulk, 418. First appearance of Talos, who is supposed to return in Secret Invasion. So I suspect, well, you know, once you start seeing set leaks or trailers or all that, this book might get another little bump at that time. All right, we get Scarlet Witch, number 1 and number 2. And I think just after I picked this up, I think number 2 actually got hot. I've had a few of these, and I just decided to keep them after the Scarlet Witch show, or WandaVision, whatever. Just figuring, again, you know, something like this may actually pick up a little. And it looks like number 2 did get a little bit of a bump. First appearance of Lore. Again, more spec for Doctor Strange. There's a lot of spec tied to villains that may show up. All right, got about 10 more, I think. Again, another book that was hot at one point. Thunderbolts, number 4. I can't remember what the spec was on this character. It's the first appearance of Jolt in costume, but this book, I don't know, I think it's, again, probably like a $20 book. More Doctor Strange. He had like a full run of Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme. So I grabbed a nice copy of 44, which is the first appearance of Cyttorak, more Doctor Strange 2 spec. This book I've seen on hot lists over the past 3-4 years. I've seen this book up and down. So for a buck, definitely worth grabbing. And I grabbed 46, which I don't think goes for a lot, but there's just a lot of first appearances, I think, in this. Or maybe I haven't marked down as first Necromancer, but I thought there were multiple firsts in this book. Probably mix them up with another issue. Too many spec books to keep track of. All right, getting into the better books, and there are some good books at the end here. We have got Hulk #2. This was a great find for $1. First, I guess is the first Red Hulk in story. Excellent cover, very reminiscent of the McFarlane Hulk 340 cover with the reflection of the Hulk and Wolverine claws, but you got the Iron Man mask. Very cool stuff. All right, and now to the big books here. We have got Batman 567. This is the first appearance and cover of Cassandra Cain. He had a ton of Batman, Detective, and a lot of stuff was newsstand, a lot of this modern stuff in his Batman run. So I picked up some of the Nightfall and Night Quest stuff as well. He had just a bunch of newsstand stuff. A lot of them were weird, had this weird warping, but he had this as well, 570 in a newsstand. This is the, I think this is the second appearance of Harley Quinn in the main DC continuity, and this one's in excellent shape. The 567 is in excellent shape as well, both near mint range. So fantastic finds on those. I can't remember. I know I checked these, but can't remember what those go for right now, but awesome finds there. In the final stack, these were fantastic pickups. I have seen people post this and never come across this book. This is a really unique cover. You've got Punisher #102 in a newsstand, a little bit beat up around the edges. I think these weren't even in bags and boards. I can't remember. It's one of those collections the guy just grabs stuff, knows nothing about books, so it's in there like he picked it up, and a lot of that stuff did not have boards. A lot didn't have bags or boards. This is a cover by Frank Teran. I'm probably butchering it. VF range, but he had not just one, not two, 3 copies of that in a newsstand. I absolutely snatched up all of those, no question asked. Fantastic pickup. This book goes for a lot. Near mint copies, 50 plus. I don't know in the newsstand. Sometimes it's tough to find some of these books, get price comparisons for newsstand copies. So, all right, not to be outdone by that. He also had Wolverine #88 in a newsstand. And again, not one, not two. He had 3 copies of that. So I grabbed all of them. I think he had issues like, I can't remember, 2 and up, so there maybe was a 1 in there, maybe an 8 at some point that maybe got cherry picked out before I got there, or who knows, but someone left these behind, and this book definitely goes for a good chunk as well. Even the direct edition is, a $30, $35 book, and the newsstand obviously commands more. Very cool Adam Kubert cover. First Wolverine versus Deadpool, and I know I've shown this off in multiple videos recently. I still continue to find this, in the $5 or less range, definitely buried in dollar bins out there. So fantastic pick up there. And the final book, could not believe I found this. Have not come across this at all. This book, still pretty pricey. Got obviously very hot with Black Widow spec, but it continues to stay an expensive book. We have Inhumans #5, first appearance of Yelena Belova as the Black Widow. Could not believe this was in there. It just came across the run, and there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, 5 right there. Really good shape, VF near mint range. Could not believe I found that. So very happy I made the decision to hit up this spot on the way home, getting kind of skunked, and it always stinks when you're out driving for an hour and a half and you're coming home, empty handed, but just happened to pop in this spot, right place at the right time. So yeah, fantastic pickup. I went back, picked up some more from this guy. Nothing quite this good, but definitely some other good finds that will be coming up in later videos. So that is it for the haul, guys. Again, if you enjoyed this type of video, please go down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. Talk to you soon.